Okay, right. I think we should be all good now. Q2 getting underway here in Australia. Apologies for all the technical errors during Q1. Hopefully we should be all okay. Obsessed, I see you in the chat there. Obsessed made it through to Q2, which is always positive. We've heard a lot about the Mercedes camp this week in terms of those guys putting in the hours going into today's race. So looking forward to seeing what Obsessed can do in Q2, whether he can add to that Q3 appearance from Las Vegas last season. But we're now down to 15 drivers who will fight for that position in the top 10 to fight for pole position in Q3. Of course, the rain continues to fall here at Albert Park, so we'll see in terms of who's got more technically on these immediate tyres to get into Q3, who put themselves in the top 10 for the last part of quali. Grumio topped the times then. Of course, looking to swipe back the championship lead if he can take it. A victory would potentially do the job, provided that Dan, Che and Imri all finish outside of the top 4. There's every chance that those 4 could cross the line in first, second, third and fourth place in today's race. Of course, in terms of other drivers who are into this next part of the session, of course, Cott making what I believe is his first appearance of the season for Williams. So always good to see Cott back. Although I will just confirm that by checking my my notes here on my left. Yep, this is the first time we've seen Cott all season long, so good to have him back in the RDL alongside Websy this season in the Williams. And those guys looking to push to try and challenge further against the top teams. Of course, just the one victory between that combination last season, come courtesy of Websy in Miami. Right now, Williams sit in 6th place in the Constructors, tied with McLaren on 10 points each. Of course, a historic team pairing of 2 rivals going at it. British teams fighting out for championships back in the 90s. It was back in the days of Senna versus Mansell, and of course Senna versus Prost in 1993, etc. But of course our Constructors Championship leaders right now pulling away Ferrari, 21 points to the good over RB in 2nd place, and Haas in 3rd. Of course that's Imri and Pope, both who got through to Q2. We're just waiting now on our first car to come through and set a qualifying time. Here's PJ coming off the last corner and towards the line. We'll see what he's got in the tank. 125.9 to kick things off. Not too bad a start. That would be Alvar coming in just behind. Alvar, the lone McLaren, getting into this part of the session. And Imri goes fastest, 125.4. beating PJ's time by half a second. Brashman P3. Here comes Scott off the last corner. We'll see if he's got up his sleeve here on return. 125.7 puts himself right into P2. Grumio's off in the gravel there. There is your reigning champion off at turn 13, and that's not a usual sight. Of course, unless you tuned into Bahrain 2 weeks ago, in which you would have seen this happen on the opening lap. Of course, he then recovered from that, but then also still went on to DNF. But of course, came roaring right back last week with the victory in Jeddah, a race that was also marred in terms of broadcasting by the internet issues that plagued us last week, as they have in Q1 already. And there's another one going off into the gravel, but this time over at exit turn 12. That's Obsessed Gamer. We'll see if he's got a claim to Q3 later on. 9 cars have already set lap time, the slowest of which being your championship leader, no less, Daniel Aaron, 1 minute 47.2. So I'm not sure what went wrong about that, but I'm assuming he's going again here. Websy, Pope, Che, Alvar, JB, all get set time to him. Alvar scores behind though. Where can the McLaren man put himself on the board? P5 on the board, 126.491. And as of right now, that does put him a good about 21 seconds above the cut line, because Dan's time is invalidated this time round. Obsessed on a lap here. Going through the first sector, keeping it nice and calm. And the slide there through 5, but keeps it under wraps going towards 6. 30.1 the first split. Now the Alvar behind him, the next car behind him on the track. The next car in front, I believe, will be the Williams of Websy. Yes, it is. JB jumps to P5, 126.4. And Che right now sitting in 10th place, 1:27.6 his best time. More or less halfway through proceedings here in qualifying in Q2. Grumio's best time on 1:29.4. With Landlord not with us tonight, Yogolu is reserving in his place. And a bit of an invalidation there for Yogolu as he comes through turn 12. Right now he sits in P10, so only just above the... I say that, allowed to P11. Obsessed Gamer puts himself into P10, 1:26.828. That'll move him the first car, or the last car into Q3. Imri improves once again, 1:25.078. Of course, still hunting to end that winless streak. That extends back to season 16 Qatar. Yet to win an RDL race on F1 24. And one driver who's still yet to win in the RDL at all is, of course, our championship leader. But given the start he's made, it would surprise me at all to see a win come his way at some point in this campaign. It could be today. So down to P3 now, 7.5 minutes to go. And everyone's now set a competitive lap time. And right now it's Alvar, the last car in. Flying Duck P11, just a few tenths outside of Q3. 10th Cannon, a couple of hundredths behind Flying Duck. And then there's Obsessed Gamer, Yogolu, and Che. Che on 1:27.6, slowest time so far. But I imagine we should see him try and push up towards the cars in front, including this guy, Imri. What sort of times will we be seeing from these guys in the dry? Will we get a dry Grand Prix? I'm not too sure weather-wise what we're looking at. Grumio P2 there. And again, in the same manner as his teammate for tonight, Grumio goes over the curb at turn 12 and violates his lap. Of course, it's a Yogolu putting it in a bit more jeopardy in terms of needing a good time on the board. As Pope, of course, went out in Q1 of this race last season. That was just the third edition of qualifying under the full quali rule. And of course, next week another rule change which will be taking into effect. Of course, their first ever, or the first regulated 100% race. It's not first ever. Well, my first ever race was 100% here, if I remember correctly. But in terms of having a permanent fixture on the RDL schedule, we will have 100% races every 4 rounds this season. The first of which is coming next week at Japan in Suzuka. So with that being said, we'll have a short qualifying as we used to prior to season 17. So a short 18-minute session to decide the order, and then the full Grand Prix distance, so which in Japan's case will be 53 laps. So that should be quite an entertaining affair. Of course, this race 29 laps, half of the official Australian Grand Prix length being 58. 5 minutes to go then, and plenty of time for things to change. Lined up on a time lap. Can't see his second split. But we'll see what sort of time he's capable of here on this fresh set of intermediate tyres. He's kept it under control and now just needs to navigate turns 15 and 16 to stand a chance at making it back inside the top 10 again. Down the main straight. This will be a 125, I think. 126.037 is enough for P8 though. That'll put Alvar out. And JB now the car on the bubble. 10th Cannon there, P12. Oh, big slide there from the Red Bull. Was it a big slide? No, she's woman and tyres up. We've joined her a bit late, just about a few seconds before the sliding started, so nearly thought she was going around, but apparently not. Obsessed P13 right now, as it stands, 4 tenths outside of the top 10. Of course, Che is the driver that really needs to come up with some kind of answer here in these last 4 minutes. It was a second down in the second sector. The line. We'll see what sort of lap he can put in this time. Brashman into P4. Alpine Reserve doing a brilliant job as of right now. Risky tyre warming indeed. As mentioned by Tank there in the chat. Tank, of course, formerly Sniper Hunter. Pope and PA there, about half second above the cut. And PJ about 100th or so in front of him. Dan P3 here. Can he get any more out of that Ferrari for the minute? Has he got enough to try and perhaps push forward to challenge Grumio Imri for the top time in Q2? Of course, doesn't need to go for it. He is more. He does appear to be safe for the most part. And typically by now we would have seen someone retire. Cotney Godwin rejoins us, but was one of the cars who went out in Q1 for Red Bull. Change to third place there. That'll push JB into the bottom 5, but JB coming through for an outlap now. So she's going to try and get right back inside the top 10 on this next effort. There's one of the Williams cars there. That'll be Cop coming out the race, back on the racetrack. Cop P7 right now, 125.764. Just a few hundredths behind Brashman. And Nimi retiring. So there it is, the first retirement of Q2. Just under 2 minutes to go. Once again, Imri put himself in a solid position, perhaps nab pole position. P4 right now, down P5. This gamer has improved. Time that down to 126.2, but needs a bit more. He's got a minute to get round and go for one last lap, and from there, we'll see if he's got enough to get to Q3. Yellow flag, and that will be, I think, for the Williams and Websy there. Both Williams cars on outlaps. We saw Cott a minute or two ago. Both those two cars in the top 10 right now. We'll see if anyone can match them. Websy warming the tyres and getting himself a bit of room. It hasn't got long. Have to stop and let Alvar go, and then go for. He could be the last car round to the line potentially before the checkered flag. PJ's invalidated. He's close to being eliminated. He's P9 right now, so I wouldn't say he's particularly safe either. If two cars improve, then that's it for him. He's out. And there's one of them. Move 10th Camden to P6. She's looking on for Q3 now. Checker flag about to fall. PJ won't make it. He's got to bank on none of those 4 or 5 drivers below improving. There's the flag. Imri retires. Grumio in the pit lane. Brash in the pit lane. And PJ just pitting now. Next car through the line is one of the Ferraris. That'll be Dan. Apologies, no, that'll be Che. Sorry, that'll be Che. Of course, Che, winner of the first race of the season. 10 points behind his teammate in the championship. Towards the line, 124. The first those on the board, Che 124.8. The top Q2. There's Pope behind him. Pope tops himself, 124.8.82. By half a tenth. Pope now on top. JB retiring, he's out of qualifying. Got into P7. Dan stays P5. Next car through will be... That will be 10th. It's on a lap, but it's pretty much safe into Q3. And he has to go through that. That's Flying Duck. And Flying Duck get himself into Q3. For Aston Martin, stays P11. Improves, but stays P11. If Sesgaler comes in, 126.2 his best effort, he'll be eliminated too. Alvaro and Yogolu both cross the line, both of them are out. So Pope in the end tops the session, Che in second. Imrie and Grumio left sat there scratching their heads, wondering what do they put underneath those race cars? Especially in these conditions, keep going faster and faster. So we'll go for your top 10 then. Pope tops the session from Che, then Imrie third, then Grumio, Dan, 10th Cannon, and I missed the rest of them off for a minute because time was off the screen. We'll go through the full order here in just a moment. So that was your top 5. Will we get a look at the results too? No, we won't. Okay, right then. That's fantastic. Okay, we'll go right into Q3 then, and we'll have a look at in terms of who we've got still on the grid. We'll of course go over which teams got their cars into Q3 and which teams got both their cars in. Both Williams cars made it, both Haas cars made it, and both Ferraris made it. And in terms of individuals, Sauber, Red Bull, Alpine, and RB all got one car in, and that's your 10 going into this last part. So 12 minutes to decide pole position. It should be a fascinating end to qualifying and going into what hopefully be a dry Grand Prix. I'll see if we can get any word in terms of what the weather's looking like for the Grand Prix itself. First car out on the racetrack will be PJ in the Sauber. Of course, almost been a full season since he took that pole position in China. Perhaps Kubica to break that streak today. Being told full dry Grand Prix, which is always positive here in Melbourne. This should make it a much more entertaining affair. Because while a wet race has its charm in terms of competitiveness, and obviously drivers who are more suited to the wet excel a lot more. And perhaps that doesn't often give us some drivers who perhaps succeed in positions where they wouldn't always do so. But of course, the dry race, especially on a circuit such as this, where the chaos can be ramped up, should make things a lot more entertaining. Of course, being told full dry, whether that could change later on, I'll have to wait and see. Imrie's the first car coming round, looking for pole position. First pole of the season, still waiting to come Imrie's way after the first 2 rounds. In the first race, it went to Dan, and the second one, it went to Grumio, because Grumio went from pole to the win. I'm sure Imrie would like to do the same here. He's the first car over the line to start Q3, just 2 cars in the pit lane. We'll just make that just the one now. 10th Cannon staying in the pits for the minute. You see her Red Bull just down there in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, so you see the front wing of it. The pit crew members waiting there for a good chance to go out. Imrie completes his first sector 29.7. Good start. So we're looking to try and match the 124 we saw in the late stages of Q2. .6 is second, going into the last sector now. Of course, turn 12 dangerous for track limits, as we've seen a few times already in quali. Through turn 13. Big slide there. Avoiding the gravel on the exit. And now towards 14. We hear a lot of slide there as he comes through. Comes in towards 15 and now 16 off the last corner. 125-1 to start the session off. PJ into the pit lane there, so perhaps something going wrong on his first run. That would mean poke the next car to come through. Imri's teammate. 125-2. So it's close between those guys. Right now Imri has the advantage. Dan goes fastest, 125.033. 128.3 for Che. Looking validated that first lap. Grimio goes fastest, 124.455, and that is quite a marker to lay down on the first lap as well. Caught 100 in front of Imri, 125.181. That's half the field coming through, setting times. 10th Cannon is now on the racetrack. So everyone's car has now graced the tarmac here in Q3 for some reason or other. Okay, the three of those cars have been validated in that first lap. Two cars. Che and Brashman both validated. But this is Websey's first lap here. Down towards or into the third and final sector through to turn 13. Last call, see where Williams Trevor can put himself. Can he try and match his teammate? P6 for Websey, of course, podiumed here a few seasons ago. Che goes fastest, 124.451. That's just 4,000 of a second between the top two. Shades of season 14 here as Che puts himself on provisional pole. Grimio can't match up this lap. Caught towards the line, doesn't improve, 129.3 that lap. Brashman towards the line, goes P8, 125.5. Sorry, P7, that's the P7 the ball. And 10th coming through for a lap. PJ now back on the racetrack, we'll see if he can set a time this time around. Of course, dove into pits at the end of his first run. Across the line, just not about 5.2 kilometre lap of the Albert Park circuit. His first lap in Q3, or his hopefully be his first time laid down in Q3. Che is one of the next cars round. You should see Imri coming through. Imri 124.9 puts him into third place. And he's going to need a bit more here to run down Che and Grimio. Che in the pit lane. I assume Grimio will join him. Grimio stayed out. So he can improve on that time. There's every chance here. He does improve, 124.1. And the time's getting faster and faster and faster here. Grimio now put himself 3/10 clear, or almost 3/10 clear. Five minutes to go. But Grimio, for the second week in a row, looking to have pole position once more. It's going to take something big to catch him. Cott, on his first race this season, put himself P3 right now. Imri P4. It's Dan, Pope, Brashman, Websey, 10th, and PJ. PJ coming through here, to imagine will be at minimum P9. Coming towards the line here, looking at 125, I think. 125.5 puts him P8 for now. So this 10th cannon yet to set a lap. You see the Red Bull mechanics bringing her car out now. And there she goes. So Grimio then leads by a decent margin going into these last few minutes. line. So guys like Imrie, Dan, who want a shot pole position, they have to pull out at least another second here. 10th on our outlap then. We've got 3 minutes, so time to get around for 1 or 2 laps. Che back on the racetrack here, and we'll see if he can try and top Grumio's time, how to put it in the 23s. Right on board. So it looks like when it comes towards the end of the second, in this first sector, 1:29.1. He's a 10th and a half up. It needs a bit more than that. He needs about 3/10. We could get a good show here, perhaps off of Brashman's Alpine. No DRS, but this could help his case. But Brashman on outlap, but he knows to get out of the way. And he's improving. That's helped him massively. Brashman off in the gravel, and he may have potentially just assisted Che, and maybe nabbing pole position back. That toe may have been just what the doctor ordered, and Che might be coming through. With 1:44 to go. Grumio's now back on the racetrack, so every chance of topping that, but Che right now, if we can hang on this last sector and finish hooking this lap up, this could be pole. Towards the line we go. 1:24.030. That is provisional pole, now in Che's favour. Alpine assisting Ferrari there. Heading towards the line for our first lap on the board. Now into the final minute of qualifying. We've got one last chance to set a bad lap. Otherwise it'll be P10 on the grid. On what will be his final lap too. Cotton Grumio coming through to start theirs. It's been a fantastic shootout thus far. Che may have time to get back round for another lap potentially, if he doesn't make any mistakes. Grumio starts his last one. Dan's P3. 1:24.6 now, so Ferrari 1:3 for the minute. Can Grumio top that? Peter's in the pit lane there. His qualifying's over. P7 at best. There's the flag. Che on pole for the minute. Next car through will be the Alpine of Brashman. Towards the line. Can he improve on his previous effort? He doesn't improve. Stays P8. Pope's retired. He's caught it in the pit lane. Imrie goes up to 3rd in the end. Next car through will be 10th. Can she improve it? She's going to put a bad time on the board. What will that time be? Up to P6 for Red Bull. Solid lap there. Nothing to complain about. Webbsy a 1/4 of a second up in the final sector. Where is Grumio? Grumio is a 1/4 of a second up too. Right now he's on course to take pole back and put it in the 23s. Just hold on. Webbsy the last corner. Can he get himself out of P10? Towards the line, he does. P8. That'll move Brashman down to P10. 2 more cars to come through here. Cott and Grumio. Grumio's validated. And that'll keep him second. And that lap, I think, would have been enough potentially to put him onto pole. And that'll do it then. So, Grumio invalidates his last effort, which means Che takes pole. Pope was 9/10 up, we're being told. There's your results. Che on pole, Grumio second. Cott takes third on return. Imrie fourth, Dan fifth, 10th and 6th. Pope 7th. That improved lap would have taken out to P4 in the end. Webb's the 8th, PJ 9th, and Reserve Brashman rounds out your top 10. So that is qualifying. We'll be back with you shortly for the start of the race. Here we go then. Welcome back to the Australian Grand Prix. Round 3 of Season 18 of the Races Driving League season. And the weather has dried up considerably here. Much nicer look on the circuit here going into what should be a very, very exciting race. Here's a look at the circuit bird's eye view. Of course, the graphic design was always by our very own JB. James won this race last season, not with us today. 29 laps to be contested here. What has been a magnificent circuit. The 6th Grand Prix in the RDL since the track's modification going into F1 22. Of course, in terms of your Drivers' Championship, for those of you who were not here, Dan leads the way, 37 points to his name. Che in second, 10 points back. Imrie in third place, also 10 points back, but of course Che gets the nod in terms of count back because of that one race victory he got in Bahrain. Grumio sits in 4th place, 25 points to his name. That's his first 25 of the season after his win last week in Saudi Arabia. Landlord, who won last season's race in Jeddah, not with us today. He sits in P5 but may drop places because of his absence. Yogalu will take his place in the other RB tonight. And in terms of the constructors, Ferrari lead the way on 64 points, 21 in front of RB. Haas sits in 3rd place on 27, Alpine 4th on 20, and Sauber 5th on 16. He's in the tie between Williams and McLaren on 10 points for 6th and 7th, 9th for Red Bull in 8th, Aston Martin in 9th on 4, and Mercedes yet to score a point in the season with Red Jane obsessed, both in the car, but only obsessed in the race tonight. To my mind, both Mercedes are here.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we
AT reserving in the other Mercedes. And of course, the debutant Brashman, late change in terms of reserves, doing for Alpine tonight in replacement of Curtis, and James not on the grid, yet to see him at all this season. There's your starting tyres.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
We've got a spectacular day for it. There's your possible race strategies at the bottom of the screen here, but I imagine these guys probably have something else in mind going into this Grand Prix. Of course, the presence of a safety car is never out of the question. Che with his first pole of the season, Ferrari second in 3 races. Of course, Dan nabbed the first one in Bahrain. Every car looks excellent here as they run down to take their places on the starting grid for what should be a spectacular race here down under in the state of Victoria. We go now to 5 red lights. It's time to bring the action for the 3rd race of the season here in Australia. Lights out, foot to the floor. We are underway. Che gets an excellent start. Jumps in front of Grumio on the run down towards turn 1. Grumio into line. Imrie holding on to 3rd place going into that first corner. All single file between those 3. Everyone gets away nice and smooth here. No problems going in these first 3 corners. You can see Brashman being challenged by both Websy and Flying Duck on the run up towards turn number 3 now. Is Grumio around the outside looking for the lead off Che, but locks up. Che maintains it but goes wide at the exit. Grumio trying the outside. Can't do it. Imrie watching these 2 play out side by side. The 2 former title rivals from season 14. Grumio on the inside. Che on the outside. Who's going to come out on top as they run through towards the end of the first sector? Che around the outside will move into the lead, and Grumio drops behind into second. Imrie being challenged by both Dan and Cott here. A trio of drivers fantastic on F1 24, but yet to win a race so far in terms of this season or last. Top 5 away nice and clean. Everyone else got away okay for the minute. No damage from what I can see in the field so far. We'll continue on though. And Chase has to keep an eye on his mirrors because Grumio will not give that up. Through turn 13. Everyone keep... Oh, car! Going spinning off there. Splashman around. Lucky not to beat you. I'm not sure if he got any damage from that. I think it's okay. Yep, all good. Brashman will continue on here, but at the back of the field. And Ethan there, close to running to the back of Courtney Goblin in the Red Bull. Che completes lap 1 then. He's got a very small lead over Grumio here. Now, will that DRS won't open up just yet? I don't think. Not for the minute. Nice, we're going to go Tony on the run up towards turn 3. Will he go to the inside of the racetrack? Won't go for the lead for the minute. Keeps it in line. Big single file train here on the run. Oh, around his car. An obsessed gamer around. Off onto the grass. Yellow flag is out. End plate damage for that Mercedes. And trouble here for the only silver arrow that can score points for the team in this race. Because AT reserve will not score towards the championship. Moving to the outside here, looking for the race lead. First doses of DRS. But Che should get it back here, going through towards turn 13. Apologies, no, it doesn't. The detection point is... I'm looking at the wrong point. The point I'm looking at is going down towards turn number 15. That penultimate left-hander on the circuit. Top 8 of Pulled Away to quite an advantage here. Imrie looking for third place back from Dan. Julio there in the lead now. The DRS now to Che's favour as they run down the main straight to begin lap 3. Removed the fastest lap. A good start for these guys so far. Kept it nice and clean. Yoglu in the pit lane here. First stopper of this race. Let's see if there's any damage to be repaired on that RB. Indeed there is. A wing change and hard tyres going onto that machine. And once they make that change, there will be... Oh, Brashman off into the grass, and I've been disconnected again. Well, apologies for this. I will sort this out quickly. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, we're back. That was particularly odd. This time the whole thing didn't go down. It's just the game that's called me out. But okay, we should be able to get back to racing here in a matter of moments. We're on lap 5 of the race at the moment. Unsure as to who is in the lead. It might be either one of Che or Grumio. But the problems continue over on the broadcasting front for reasons that we can't quite understand nor deduce. But we'll get underway in a matter of moments. Here we go. And hopefully we shouldn't have any more problems for the rest of tonight. Here we go though. So back on to racing here on lap 6. Grumio shows the way from Che, then Dan. 10th Cannon's 4th place. So he's had a fantastic race so far. Then it's the two house cars, Imri and Pope. There goes Che looking for lead on the outside of the racetrack towards turn to 11. Yes, there he goes up in front. Move the Ferrari back into the top spot. He's your new leader. Grumio falling back to second here. And DRS in the favour of neither one of them here. But Grumio might get a good toe as they run down towards turn number 13. Flying Duck with a penalty. There's your penalty count so far. 3 seconds for Ben and 3 seconds for Obsessed Gamer too. But Obsessed Gamer, of course, quite way back there, as is Yorglue. Those two have already made pit stops. And straight here, Grumio looking to try and take advantage. DRS enable for him. Big train behind too. Pope, the last car in the train as of right now. Sort of JB sliding off to the right of the racetrack there, but luckily keeping it under control, keeping it all steady. Running the first car outside of the points right now in P10. Of course, no reserve in the top 10 as it stands, so there'll be no points on offer for him to be claimed in that position. So he's all to himself for the minute, but Grumio I imagine will come back at him. Chase on that out of turn 10 towards 11. Grumio giving us deja vu here. The same move that Che made. Grumio dancing around the outside like it's nothing and reclaiming the top spot. Now what can these guys behind do? Can Imri look to try and get involved on 10th? Of course, the train makes it particularly difficult. 506 cars without DRS. Anyone who doesn't being, of course, being the race leader. Of course, that we're looking to gain the most time, most places. The lock up there from one of the two leaders. Unsure as to who that was. And a solid advantage here off of turn 16 onto lap 8. So turns 1 and 2. Of course, the majority of drivers all starting on the mediums in this race. So I shouldn't imagine it'll be too long before we see that first pit stop. And chances are onto hard tyres for the rest of the way. They'll split up a bit here. Cop by himself in P7. PJ about another 2 seconds back in 8th. It's another 2 Websy. He's got Flying Duck on his tail in P9 and 10. JB the last car outside the point. Sorry, the first car outside the points in P11 as Pope makes the move on Imri there. I think Imri's had a problem of some kind. He almost ran the cot up into the barriers there. Not sure what's happened to the Haas, but he's dropped a lot of time. We've got Tank there in the chat for our pit stop analysis and insight for the time being. So it's pitting around lap 9 or 10 will probably be the best option. But we'll see, of course, what the drivers actually in the race plan to do. But well, that pack there was 6 cars, now becomes 5. Imri 2 seconds back from Pope being challenged by Cott down the main straight on the run towards turn 1. Won't go for move just yet, keeps it in line, but Williams wants to attack as soon as he can. Cott, of course, looking for his first points of the season. P6 on the outside here as they run towards turn 3. The right-hander slide there from Cott. He keeps it alongside Imri for turn 4. And won't clear the Haas and take the place away, but that was very close to perhaps a spin out. JB in the pit lane here. Hard tyres now on that race car, so I imagine we'll probably see him go to the end of the race on those tyres. And that could be a sign for the rest of the field here. Here comes Che, looking to the outside of Grumio once again. And the cat and mouse game continues. These two continuing to trade P1 back and forth, back and forth. AT gets a 3-second penalty there for multiple warnings. Imri around Cott, Websy around Flying Duck. Oh, big slide there from Pope. Saw that for a second. All 5 cars staying out for a minute. In comes Imrie. Imrie, the first car or was that lead pack in for a pit stop. AT retiring. That's a safety car's come out. He's crashed it going into turn 15. So our first retirement coming courtesy of AT, and it's happened as Imrie has come into the pit lane. He's onto the hard tyres now. Now how will that work out?